Hello and welcome to Division F podcast.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to this episode of Division F podcast.
Hello and welcome to Division F's podcast.
Hello and welcome to Division F's
Hello
podcast.
and welcome to Division F's podcast.
Hello and welcome to Division Podcast. Do you need a real source of inspiration? Is it possible for you to read multiple genre of books in a single day itself? Do you want to know how to become a person who can inspire many with a small smile, with the right content and delivery when you're addressing a group of people? If yes, then this is for you. Hello and welcome to Division of Podcast. I'm Priya Ganesh, Area Director, Area F1, and a proud member of Meraki. Do you need a real source of inspiration? Is it possible for you to read multiple genre of books in a single day itself? Do you want to know how to become a person who can inspire many with a small smile, with the right content and delivery when you're addressing a group of people? If yes, then this is for you. This podcast is for you. We have here with us two special persons, the interviewee and the interviewer. Interviewee is gonna be our district leader, distinguished Toastmaster Gayathri. And to interview this special person, we have another special person with us. He is distinguished Toastmaster Dinesh Balaji, who always, like our special guest, inspires everyone with his smile and the kind of content when he delivers. Let's wait to listen to his wonderful questions and a wonderful true source of inspiration as answers from our special guest, distinguished Toastmaster Gayathri. Over to you, Dinesh Balaji.
Thank you so much, Division F, for providing me this opportunity to interview our own CGD Club Growth Director, CG Gayathri, who's also a distinguished Toastmaster. To have a quick introduction about me, I'm a distinguished Toastmaster Dinesh Balaji. I've been a Toastmaster since 2014, probably a year after our CGD started her journey on Toastmasters, I would say. I've also been fortunate to be part of two districts, currently District 120, as well as formerly districts in Bangalore, which is District 121. I started my journey as a club secretary and rose all the way to the ranks of area director outside my home area. And then also I had an opportunity to currently serve as the DCP chair, or also called as the awards committee chair. So that's a short introduction about me. I believe all of you on air right now would be as excited to know about the person whom you're going to interview today. I would not start with the typical, this person needs no introduction. Just a formal introduction about our interviewee for today, distinguished Toastmaster Gayathri CG, who is the current club growth director of District 120. She has been a club president, an area director, a division director as well during her past journey, which started 9 years ago, since 2013. She's a machine learning consultant, project manager at DLX Technologies, a postgraduate program from Texas McCombos School of Business, Bachelor of Technology in Information Technology from the reputed Anna University. So now, thank you so much, distinguished Toastmaster Gayathri, for joining us. It's a pleasure having you on air today.
Very excited to be part of this pioneer event, I would say, from our district. Very happy to interact with you as well, Dinesh.
Thank you so much. So let's get started, since we want to utilize this time to extract and unearth as much of learning as possible from you. So Toastmaster Gayathri, you have been in areas of leadership as well as communication. What is that which interests you the most, leadership or communication?
Of course, I joined Toastmasters because I loved speaking on the stage, and it was the communication part that intrigued me towards Toastmasters. But as years unfolded, I realized that communication is the foundation or pillar that you use to build the leadership skill. So what is the use of communication if I cannot persuade someone to do something better, or if I cannot inspire or motivate someone? But again, communication is the pillar that I can cling on to. But I think through a leadership journey where we apply the communication skills to real use, I think that's what is the ultimate goal where we move towards in Toastmasters. That's how it has been for me.
Thank you so much for beautifully weaving the connect between the base of communication and the power of leadership. When they both speak in tandem with each other, I think that's the best combo that we can think of. Can you talk about some candid moment when you started in Toastmasters? Something of interest, which should be funny, which could be very serious, which you took very personally, anything of that kind.
See, my Toastmaster journey itself was the way I got into the club itself is an interesting story. I came to know about Toastmasters when I joined my company in Hyderabad in the year 2007. And at that time, I thought that it's a very exclusive club because the Toastmasters club, the term club was very misleading. I thought I cannot just walk in and be a member. It is like club somehow brought in some sort of exclusivity. And it was in year 2011 that I was invited to a milestone event. I thought, okay, I've got an invitation now let me get in. And then by the time I got settled in a couple of weeks' time, and then I thought, okay, membership may be something that I can think upon. I had already got transferred to Chennai. So that was in the year 2011, towards the end of the year. And then as soon as I came to Chennai, I wanted to be part of this program and I searched everywhere. I was living in Adayar. Trust me, I was going and looking out everywhere. And the only club I could find was somewhere in Egmore and it was happening on a Sunday evening. I wanted to be there, but somehow it never worked. And you know this irony, you keep searching everywhere and then you find that something has happened somewhere very close to you. I used to work from DLF campus. And then I came to know that the very first corporate club was formed in my own company in the MEPS campus. So then I used to travel week on Tuesdays. That's when they used to meet on those days to MEPS campus only to attend the Toastmasters meeting. Again, the irony here is all my teammates and the competency members knew that I was traveling all the way from Adayar to Tambaram just to attend this Toastmasters meeting on Tuesdays. But the club members never noticed that. They saw that there was a guest walking in and they thought, let that person join us. And when they want, nobody spoke about membership or anything as such. Again, in another 2 months or 3 months' time, when they thought about asking me for membership, I got married and moved to Bangalore. I couldn't become a member there as well. And then after I went to Bangalore, the first thing I checked was where was the nearest club. And luckily, we had a club in my Bangalore office as well. That's when I started the journey. So it took me almost a year and a half to be a member because every time I became a member, it was always getting transferred. And then after my maternity break, when I came back, the club was closed in Bangalore. And then one of the reasons that I came back to Chennai was I wanted to be a part of a Toastmasters club. And I had been motivated with the emails that I've been receiving from my Chennai chapter club. So, but by the time I joined here, I had completed my 10 speeches. But then I think the DXC Chennai chapter is where I groomed by large, especially on the leadership skill. But I started my club at Bangalore. Somehow the jinx did not stop me from becoming a member at Bangalore. So this, if I think back now, it is almost like a struggle that I had to go through by the time I became a Toastmasters itself.
Thank you so much. I think there is definitely an interesting anecdote. The exucadness of the term club that misleaded you, and then probably now you are in a position where you're telling people about how you welcome members and so forth. It must be a transformational experience for sure. And not to miss out on the 4 years that you spoke about, where you were like trying to get into a club and then realize that you were traveling all the way. The VPM must be probably very light on you, I would say. Usually the VPMs are very much driven by how do you ensure that everybody who comes in gets converted. Probably these are some of the nuances of a corporate club where they do not know if a guest is actively trying to participate or is it someone internal and employee. Maybe I would blame it on that in this case. It's really exciting to know.
To it actually, those were like golden days. What happened was my company was sponsoring for the membership fee. That is something I think is happening even in many corporate clubs now. But they used to pay for everything. They used to pay extra for milestone meeting, that people used to have a lavish dinner after every milestone meeting. That's not just it. People used to be sponsored for their travel to Sri Lanka because they were carrying votes that has to be cast on behalf of the club. So that much was the support that was given from the company for the club. But of course, today there is absolutely zero financial support. But probably because of that, they never cared. If someone is really interested, maybe let them become a member was probably the thought process. That may also be a reason.
Yeah, that's really interesting because when I started on a corporate club, we were all on our own. We were a group of 5, 6 active ex-com members who used to put in some personal money just to ensure that we keep our guests in the right spirit when they come in, putting in all the effort, traveling all the way around. Same used to happen for very creative choice of gifts rather than the standard trophies for our chief judges. And there are some times when we got in some small plans as a small souvenir, which of course they like the customization of the gifts. So all of us go through that journey, and it's quite interesting. So do you still remember your first speech? I wouldn't ask about the icebreaker for sure, because icebreaker everybody would remember. Do you remember your second speech probably?
Yeah, I remember all my CC speeches. All of them were very close to my heart, because one reason was because I was not able to become a Toastmaster for a long time, probably because of that. I gave speech every alternate week. So I remember my very first icebreaker itself was something that I created very close to my heart. In fact, my kind of transformed my icebreaker into a ISC speech, and that has taken me up to division level 2 times. Once in Bangalore, once in Chennai. It was one of the very coveted creation, I would say, that I had created at that time. And of course, my second speech, I wanted to be a little humorous, because first speech was very serious. Second speech, I created a humorous speech. Those days, it was organize your speech, opening, body, conclusion. Anything can be fit in there. I remember all my 10 speeches. I know the topic, what was the speech. Probably the content I may not be able to memorize, but I can always speak on that on any day. I really enjoyed all those 10 speeches. That was like a beautiful task, beautiful journey, I would say. And it was really something that I always remember.
So someone having the ability to convert an icebreaker speech into an inspirational speech that goes all the way up to the division contest twice clearly says that an inspiring story that you're carrying along with you. So one thing which often many of us face these days is people talk about work-life balance, right? How do you balance work life and Toastmasters?
To me, Toastmasters is like part of my self-care routine. And I think many a times we balance work and life, but we don't take care of ourselves better. So for me, there are at least 2 things that we have to do on a daily basis to take care of us. One is physical fitness, another one is mental fitness. And I think Toastmasters to me offers that mental fitness. Whenever I'm fatigued or tired or depressed, I think joining a Toastmasters meeting or speaking to some Toastmaster in general kind of lifts my spirit up. But on a time management basis, I would say I only do things that I love to do most of the time. For example, I love cooking, but I don't cook on a daily basis, because then it becomes like a chore, and it kind of drains my lot of my time. It's not that it's a bad task to do. So I kind of subtask it. Some days I definitely cook, but most of the days I don't cook. Again, I don't work on any household activities that typically people do at home, like cleaning, sweeping. We have maids to do that, or it's always delegated. But it doesn't mean that I stay away from my responsibilities. I do take care that the house is well settled. I take time to decorate and do things, fix things. I love fixing all those electrical fixtures. Something goes wrong, I sit and repair. I like doing that, so I do that. But the reason I'm able to sustain in Toastmasters for this long is mainly because I don't do things that I would not want to do, be it at work or at this thing. Or sometimes we may be forced to do things, but I'll do it only for a short period, look for a way out, and then get rid of that task. Even if it is at work, I generally don't get into routine things. Either I automate it through a script that takes care of the work, or I delegate it to someone else. Making the process simpler, creating proper documentation, helping them do things, because then we do things which are more challenging, which are close to our heart. And again, if you ask me in terms of work-life balance, I don't probably if we are expecting some balance like how our parents used to do, like 9 to 5, they used to work. 6 o'clock, they come back home, stay with us for 3 hours every day. I don't spend that much of time with my daughter. At least after this pandemic, probably I'm spending more time. But I ensure that we spend good time together. Quality time in the sense, not like very focused time. Mostly we do silly things, but I kind of compensate. If, for example, before pandemic, let's take the time before pandemic. That's when things were more complicated. If on a Saturday and a Sunday, if there are TI events, I generally will take one event. I'll go on Saturday or on Sunday. I'll not do both. By chance, if both are so tempting that I cannot miss, then I'll take a day off on the weekday, and I'll probably ask my daughter also to take a day off, and we go out together. I've bunked her classes many times. We go to park or museum. So if we are expecting to balance things on a very regular basis, I think it is difficult. But if we get a little creative, I think all of us have a lot of time which we are spending on social media, maybe on TV, maybe on things that we are not very happy that we spend so much time there. I think if we balance that, I think it works out better.
Yeah, that's really good to know. And nowadays, even applying for leaves for kindergarten can be a huge challenge. I can see that you're able to bunk a day on a weekday at office as well as get your daughter off for a day. So that's really good to see that level of balance that you try to bring in. And also, when I heard about subtasks, delegation, I felt you sounding like the managerial face of you. Can you talk a little bit about your experience of being a manager, both before you were a seasoned Toastmaster to now after being a seasoned Toastmaster? How do you see complex situations when, let's say, an employee comes to you with a unreasonable ask and you are the manager? How do you handle it?
So I kind of work very closely with my teammates. I set the expectations very early. Whenever I start working with someone, I tell them this is my expectation. This is the kind of work you would require to perform, and let me know how you want to do it. And I take their consent before I get them into the team. And unreasonable ask, I would first understand what is it that they are trying to do. Sometimes they speak the truth. Sometimes there is something else that they want. And in terms of my work, again, we have very unconventional work culture. I don't even know what time my team logs in and logs out. I don't care about it at all. And many times when I call them, I know they are traveling somewhere, they are driving a car, they'll be outside having snacks. And I appreciate the honesty that they have. So sometimes when I call them, they'll be eating samosa or something, and then I ask about the shop. Is that a really good one? Is that like a local shop? What is it famous for? And things like that. They send me pics. They say, this is wonderful. You should come here. I'll treat you to that kind of thing. So I believe that it's okay, right? We are all working from home. So we take that as a flexibility. And probably because I offer that flexibility or because they are really good people, all of them complete their work by going beyond their work timing. I always discourage people working on weekends. But I know that when I speak with them on Friday and then when they come back on Monday, the progress of work that they say, I know they've worked on weekend. And that is only because I let them take the ownership of the task. So I strongly believe that I am more concerned about the completion of a deliverable rather than their availability or their style of work. And I think one great advantage that Toastmasters gave me is to understand people much earlier. So I understand the strengths of people, the capabilities, and I don't push them by large. If I know somebody cannot carry this, rather than putting them under stress and making them do things, I kind of find out someone else who may be able to work with them, help them on a specific task. There may be a particular piece of code or piece of technology that they are not very comfortable with. So I get someone else to work with them and do things like that. So I have never had an opportunity for this unreasonable ask. My team has been extraordinarily good. And generally, I appreciate honesty. So even if someone comes and tells me that they have to take their girlfriend out and they want to take a day off, I would rather appreciate that and ask them to go ahead and do that. And I do speak about that as well. I do tell them, this movie has released. Are you not going on first day first show? You're a fan of this person. What are you doing in office? These are the kind of questions I ask them. So they generally don't hide things from me. They just tell me, this, see, I cannot make it here. And if there is a impossible thing that I cannot do that, so I kind of explain to them, say, this is the problem. This is the deadline. So we have to finish this. So how you tell me how we can finish this? Do you want to work in the night? Do you want to compensate? let's work out a strategy. So when they are part of the problem solving team, I think the responsibility that they take is more, and solving problems is much easier. So that's how I'm working with the team. Of course, Toastmasters has played a big part. I played managerial role before Toastmasters also. In fact, it was a more complicated situation where I had about 5 years of experience, and I had to manage people who had more than 16, 17 years of experience. So I was not very confident about taking that role. I asked my manager quite a few times, "Are you sure I can pull this out?" And they were like, "I'm sure about you. Why are you doubting yourself?" But then I was able to manage it. It was not that I was having any terrible experience there, but I was not very confident. Though I was projected as a good manager outside of me as such. But again, when I got into managerial role after Toastmasters, it's mostly because of the qualities that I've got acquired through this program, because they saw that I can pull this through, and then they offered this position to me. So I think Toastmaster plays a big role in the work that I do as a manager.
Definitely. And someone who doesn't know when the employee logs in and logs out is something which is very rare these days. It's a rare breed, I would say. So I think also what I carefully understand from what you mentioned is also about setting that culture. You can have that level of ownership being given, but unless we start identifying in the early stages about what challenges they may have that foresight, and then see how you can make them be successful. I think that's what differentiates normal managers from real leaders, I would say. Because unless you provide that support proactively, and of course, when you talked about the word like samosa, right, that reminded me of our district director who says the cost of membership is just a tea and samosa, and probably someone is eating in samosa there. Probably if they're having a cup of tea as well, if they are not a Toastmaster, then it's time to start the persuasion power in you to see how they can benefit from that as well. Because I have felt that when we have a Toastmaster as a manager, or when we have a conversation between two Toastmasters in a setup like work, I find it very comfortable because both of us have a proper structure. We understand how things are done. What is that someone really wants? Even when I pitch some ideas further, then I see what kind of a structure, how do you make the proposal clear, and so forth. So I think I also enjoy a lot in that specific portion of Toastmasters. Have you been ever late to a contest?
Late to a contest, no. I'm mostly before time. So I'm not. I don't have that ability to handle that much thrill. So I generally am early to contest.
Awesome. So I think those are the days when we used to come 1 hour early, half an hour early, and then also catch up later. We felt that is an opportunity where we meet everyone at one single venue. And I think after COVID, many things have become a distant dream for many of us to even meet. I had a instance where I was working as area director for a year when I haven't met my division director, DTM Mangalam as well. So after a year we met, and we didn't feel anything different because we have had that level of conversations often. So but still seeing in person was a little different, I would say. So all of us are going through that phase as well. So what do you like? Do you like samosa actually?
Why? About what? In what context?
Do you like samosa? It's a question.
Yeah, I love samosas. Why will I not like it?
Yeah, because you spoke about your members going out and having samosa and they get good recommendations. So that shows the foodie part of it. So what is your favorite food other than samosa? Okay, let me
Uh,
put it in a slightly different way. What do you like to cook and eat, and what do you like to go out and eat?
mm. I mean, it depends on the mood as such. But I like trying something very new and recreating what I eat at a restaurant. So if I go to a restaurant and I eat something very new, I kind of take it as a challenge to recreate that. I identify the ingredients with what I eat. How did they achieve that consistency, and then I come back. So my recent times, I think I went to a restaurant called Eden, and I had this lunch combo. They have some combos where they gave a beautiful curry that was inspired by Thai cuisine, but then it was also little Italian as well. So immediate thing I did was, after I came back, I kind of recreated that. I went to that restaurant with a friend. I cooked that. I took it to him and I asked him, how does it taste? Of course, he being my friend, he said this tastes better than the restaurant, but at least So yeah, recent in the lunchtime, I mean lunch kind of meal. I'm recently fascinated by the Thai flavors, the um, ginger and the lemongrass and the basil leaves. All these are kind of new flavors that I'm getting attracted to. But having a daughter who is very picky about eating, I kind of have to get very creative, disguising the vegetables into the food, especially the ones that she doesn't take. Of course, I cannot hide it from her because she's also very concerned about food. She will identify what it is, but I have to tell her, see, I put carrots in this, but then I think it will taste better. So then she at least tries and then she says, okay, yeah, this is good. I'll eat carrot only in this way, kind
Awesome. So disguising food is again one of the art, I would say, which is the most sought out skill in this modern era of managing
of.
kids, I would say. I still remember at home when the bitter gourd is dressed up very nicely and detuned and denatured that it becomes sweet by adding more
Sweet.
onions and maybe a tablespoon of sugar to add that little bit of a punch to ensure that it gets into your body the right way, but doesn't get into your taste buds the way it usually does.
Yeah.
So that's what makes a huge difference. Good to know about a lot of cuisine that you're talking about. So how have you felt transitions between online in-person meetings to virtual, and now we are in a stage where we don't know where we want to go, whether we want to go in person, hybrid, whether we want to go back to online. What are your thoughts about it?
See, I think online meeting was like a blessing for us. I don't think we would have been able to sustain even the pandemic if not for the online meetings. Forget about Toastmasters. I think it gave us a beautiful opportunity to connect with people still when we were unable to go out. So online is always the next best choice, I would say. In person is the first choice. And there are beautiful things that happen in an in-person meeting because the connect is many to many. Here is like one person speaks, everybody listens. Even if you have an informal connect, that many to many conversation cannot happen on a Zoom meeting. And so online, I mean, any day in-person meeting is going to be the place where we want to go to. But I think at least for the next 1 year, hybrid may be our go-to solution because we still have people who may not be back to their base or who may never come back to the base. So that is one thing. But I see that we have kind of stumbled upon something really new that we can use to our advantage in the upcoming years. I still remember one TLA event where we conducted in IITM Research Park. We wanted to have a 15-minute speech from Mark Brown, who was in US. He had just come to our district conference and returned, and he kindly agreed to do a session online. But in IITM Research Park, where we had a good connection, we were unable to project him on the screen live. I think we had something like WebEx on those days. Zoom was not there. So the technology was not that adapt to take care of the requirements. So then he went back, he shot a video, and then he sent it over email. Again, the attachment was too big to download, and it was not working out at all. But today, I think when we have a TLA event sometime in person, we could still have somebody speaking on a Zoom meeting without any hiccups. So we have kind of mastered that skill. I think going forward, we may not go back to the pure physical meetings all the time. At least once in a while, we may still want to hear from someone online. And that is a beautiful thing that we have kind of discovered. And now everybody is comfortable speaking on Zoom and things like that. So I think that is a great thing that has happened because of this. And that's the future that I see.
Definitely, and I see a lot of people embracing hybrid meetings. I recently saw from one of the early morning clubs, I would say, where they had a hybrid meeting. So a lot of things are possible, just like our last year's district conference that happened in a virtual setup, designed and curated carefully to ensure that we have a good level of impact. We are also looking forward to see how our district conferences would be this year. So we talk about Toastmasters. One thing that we don't want to miss out is the mentor-mentee relationship, right? Can you talk to us about your best mentee and your best mentor?
That is very, very difficult. I cannot pick up one person as the best mentor or mentee. But I'll speak about all the mentors who've been with me, a little bit of everybody probably. So my first mentor was the president of the Bangalore Toastmasters Club. His name is Shankar. He was the one who pushed me into ISC contest. I was like I'm not even ready. What shall I do? And he was like, no, you speak your icebreaker. It will all work out. So every time I didn't know what is an area contest. I didn't know who goes to division contest. I didn't know that there was a ballot. Honestly, until I came to Chennai, I didn't know that there was a judging ballot based on which I was marked. So he kind of said that it's all very clear. You just go, you speak, it will all work out. So I think he was the one person with whom I used to rehearse, and he used to tell me this is working well, this you can change. He was very young. He was much younger than me, but he was willing to help, and he saw that I can become a good Toastmaster or a good public speaker at a very early stage, I would say. And then when I came here, I was assigned to DTM Partha as my mentor in my club, because he was the senior most. I was already kind of completing my 10 speeches. So they wanted someone who is already in advanced communication journey to speak. And Partha was a very strict person. So if I call him, he was very procedure oriented. And so I had a bit of seriousness in the preparation. I cannot go on the day of the speech, call him and say, Partha, can I rehearse? He'll say, no, this will not work. You should have sent the script 2 days ago. I mean, even if I send the script, he will say, okay, forget the script, you come back and you show me. I have to speak and show to him at least 2 days ahead of the speech. That was the rule. And mostly he will give me some changes, which I have to again rehearse and come back and speak in front of him. So very rarely he accepted for delivering an unprepared speech, but that discipline kind of helped me enhance the speeches by large, actually, I would say. I've given some of the best speeches, not even the contest speeches, the club speeches were really very good. I mean, I'm very happy about it. I'm not saying it is great speech kind of thing, but the quality of speeches I could create because of that procedure and strictness was really, really great. Around the same time, I had Satya from my club mentor me for my leadership journey. I was one person who said, I will never become a vice president membership. I can become a president, but I am not going to go and ask people to sign up. I cannot sell Toastmasters to anybody. I don't like sales. This is what I was telling. But in a twist of events, we kind of ended up becoming, I said, if you become a president, you have to become a president, was a conversation I was talking to Satya. Then he said, then you take up BPM. So that somehow we ended up becoming victims. He thought I will not take VPM, so he can speak president. I thought this is not good. Somehow it became. But that 6 months, he changed the way I carried myself. He said, whatever you say is right, but say it with a smile. Every time somebody looks at you, you should be with a warm smile, pleasant face. We used to still make fun of those words. And luckily, he was sitting in the next cubicle. So even if I spoke with someone on phone, he will be like, warm smile, pleasant face. You're a VPM. You cannot get angry. This is how he used to train me. So that was one of the best things that happened to me. Again, as I started going outside of the club, I had good mentoring from a lot of people. Take, for example, our IPDD Praveen. He used to ask me to do things. Even as a division director, I was not very keen on becoming president distinguished. And he was like, no, you have to win. Unless you win, people will not believe in your strategy. People will think that you being good to people, you will not be a successful person. So you're sending a wrong message. So go for it. Go for that last meal. And he pushed me to get there. And then, of course, I had my good friend who's also my good mentor, Kalyan, who kind of mentors me in everything. Literally, it is very difficult to. Sometimes I tell him that, Kalyan, please let me do this time. He'll be like, no, nothing doing, Didi. You have to do this. So right from my division director term, I have got a lot of people coming and pitching in with me, and so today I cannot say that there is one mentor who has kind of molded me. I think when the student is ready, the master always appears, and they have all been so good to me. None of them had any obligation to come and shape me into something, but they did fantastic work, I would say. I mean, the version that I am seeing today, I'm pretty sure that all of these people had a beautiful contribution there. But the better part has been always my mentees. My mentees always teach me a lot of things. I have a mentee, I had a mentee. She's not a Toastmaster anymore because she moved to US. Her name was Shweta. I have to learn the meaning of dedication from her, because she used to travel to Tirupati, and on her way back, she used to send me voice notes of her speeches, because she has to rehearse and deliver. And even small things that I ask her to change, she will do. And she used to blindly follow whatever I say, because once I said you sign up for revision, she just went and paid the fees. She didn't even ask what it is, what will I gain out of it. Because that blind trust, it gives a big responsibility for us. Somebody trusts us so much blindly, it is very difficult for us to hold on to that, because they have a big responsibility to hold. And of course, my all-time example of how a mentee should be and how someone can get the maximum from mentor is Toastmaster Swati. In fact, after I became division director, I told her, Swati, I am unable to cope up to your speed. You please find one more mentor. I'll always be there for you. But for your speeches, you go for someone else. But even there, she came with 3 people's name. And she asked me, whom should I ask as the second mentor? Then I told the strengths and the weakness of all these people. I said, this is what they are. So now you decide. So I kind of learned a lot from Swati. Swati was moved to DLF at some point from MEPS. So she was not able to attend the meetings, and she said she's not going to continue her journey. I said, if you are really sincere, you can still do it. And then I introduced all the DLF clubs to her. She used to attend all those meetings. Every week, at least she'll attend 2 meetings in DLF. Eventually, she said, no, I'm not happy with all other clubs. I still need our club. So every Tuesday, she used to travel to Tambaram. She'll attend the meeting and then she'll go to DLF. Her house is somewhere in Ambattur. So Ambattur to Tambaram, Tambaram to Porur, she'll go work there. That was her level of dedication. So I don't know if I would do that, honestly. And she's very diligent in following up. She'll send the script. One day she'll give. If I don't respond, she will ask me, where is the update? Gayathri, I'm not doing well here. This part is not convincing for me. Tell me something. But I mean, she will follow everything. I mean, she was not having energy on the stage. I told her to eat a chocolate before she goes to the stage. She follows the till date. I told her just one day, very casually, I said, you better eat a chocolate. You don't have energy on the stage. Every stage, I mean, you can see Swati will be having it in her pocket, or she'll eat chocolate and then she'll go. She is, she transformed beautifully well because she implements everything with a lot of sincerity. And I think dedication, sincerity, and being very prompt is something that I'm still learning from my mentees. I mean, thank you for helping me reminisce all those moments. I'm just thinking of the journey so far because of these questions. Very nicely created, I would say, Dinesh. Thank you so much.
Yeah, I think this is one of the best parts of Toastmasters, right? Than being a mentor or a mentee, there's a two-way learning that we always have. And maybe next time when I meet Swati, then I should ask for chocolates. I'm pretty sure I will not be disappointed that she will carry one. So amazing to see about your journey, where you were having all kinds of fears to start up on a VPM role, and the deal that you had with your president to take president role and that you to take VPM resulted in you becoming someone who is a primary source who manages and works with a lot of VPMs, curating strategies, telling them how to implement them and how to work forward. So it's really amazing to know about your journey. One question: we all put all our energy in a particular forum like Toastmasters. If not Toastmasters, what? What would have distinguished Toastmaster Gayathri? Probably, what would a Gayathri become if not Toastmasters?
Honestly, I don't put all my energy into Toastmasters. I still have a lot of things that I pursue. So tomorrow, if I decide to take a break from Toastmasters, I still have a lot of things that I would be busy with. One, I still have my reading club, who are very passionate about reading. I have a lot of friends there who read a lot of books, and we have a meeting every Sunday evening. I don't join that very regularly, but at least I read the minutes of meetings. Sometimes the recordings are available on YouTube. So they review a book every week. There'll be at least 2 people who review it, and I'm very passionate about reading. I still read a lot of books, so that is something that I'm passionate about. I have my women group called Agua, where we kind of just meet, greet, support each other, and help us become whatever we want to become. And we speak about everything taboo, everything unconventional. All of us have just one motto, which is to live life to the fullest in a very happy way possible, not worrying much about what others think or others care, but more importantly, to help each other with the journey. Because many of the times, whatever decisions we want to take in life, we are unable to do it because of the society. We think others will not accept us, others will not agree to what we are doing. In honesty, every human is an individual and they are allowed to do whatever they want to do as long as they do not hurt others. Hurt in the sense not physically and doing things. If what I decide is hurting someone else, I can't really help about it. So this is a beautiful group I have, and I do spend some time with them. I'm not as active in all these groups apart from Toastmasters, that I would say, because I love being here. And in Toastmasters, you have the structure, there is education, and then there is a lot of responsibilities that you can pick up. So I have a good, I consciously created this circle. Honestly, I wanted to have things that I want to do with people who are also with the like-minded thought. And again, even career-wise, I keep learning, I keep upgrading myself. At any point of time, I want to be doing something for few things. One, like I said, my physical fitness. I do attend some sort of a physical fitness class in the morning. Like sometimes shuttle, sometimes I do silambam, sometimes I go for walking. There will be something at every point in my life. Again, sometimes it is not like it always happens, but at least if it's not happening, I get it to track and start working on it. And reading is my passion. One thing I still want to do is learn music. I stopped learning after my college days. I'm still finding out good teacher whom I am comfortable with and who can work with me. I love singing and I do that. I still sing, but I want to get properly trained as well. So I don't limit myself to a particular passion or focus all my energy there. I have always been that. Even if you ask me what book I'm reading, I'll be reading at least 3 to 4 books at every point of time. It's not that I always, but I have 4 books. But morning I'll read a book, afternoon something else, night probably something else. I don't like dwelling on same thing. Probably it makes me more depressed, I would say. I've tried doing that with single book and it doesn't make me feel so good. But so even my life is that I have too many things. I have a lot of things I always do, and I like being that way.
Yeah, that's really nice to hear a lot of personal insights about you, because living life to fullest is something which most of us started realizing after this pandemic. We do not know what's going to happen next, the uncertainties that we sail through, and so forth. I think that really is very important. And emotional stability, there is no other time better than the pandemic, where we have to be empathetic, have a group that embraces, and importance of a side hustle, I would say, rather than something exploring 3 4 things, because you put all your energy in one basket, and one day if you look back something is not working, then it's very difficult for you to come out. And as you mentioned, depression, that's somewhere we could get through in eventually. If we put all the energy in one instance that turns you off, then it can be quite challenging. It was nice talking to you about your journey. I believe the questions were quite interesting to you. And also, I felt when you spoke about your experiences, I could reconnect with some of my fond memories of my days when I started as a mentee, my president pushing me to take up a VP Ed role. And then from where I switched gears, and my mentor, DTM Aarti as well, who has always been there for me. And as you rightly said, when in your office days, when you had the self-doubt, there's always someone from outside who's a well-wisher who comes and reinforces, if I'm confident, why not you? I heard the same thing a few days from my current manager at work. He just told, hey, Dinesh, I have so much confidence in you. Why are you really even thinking about it? So you have the capability, you have the temperament, you can do it. So all of us run through this wonderful journey of inspiration that we get from someone whom we say unknown sources, but everybody comes for a purpose, right? Their purpose might be just to see us successful. Because the best part I enjoyed out of Toastmasters is seeing someone else being successful. There are times when my mentee and I have competed in a contest and I have lost, and I was very happy about the outcome, because you see someone stronger, someone being really empowered. Even a small advice, like you mentioned, carrying a chocolate, if you can get someone who can blindly follow and build the level of trust, I think that's what leadership journey is all about. Communication, again, if you ask, leadership, communication, how well you communicate as a leader is what will sum up what we learn in Toastmasters. So thank you so much for your time. In spite of your multiple side hustles, you have paid time today to what you mentioned that you love doing. And I'm really happy that you were part of this initiative that we had today. And we were able to churn out a lot of memories, which is very important as we sail along. So one question before we conclude: what next?
Uh, Quite a lot of things actually, if you ask me. Um, one thing, if you ask me in Toastmasters, yes, I'm willing to continue as a program quality director and take it forward from there. As a club growth director, I had a wonderful journey. There were few things that I wanted to bring in, and I'm very happy with what I've done. And there are some unfinished work which I probably will ask the next set of leaders to take it forward if they like the ideas. That is more in terms of Toastmasters. In terms of career, yes, I want to do a little more on AML. I've just started working on technical blogs, and I want to work on something more in that area, more into AML. I luckily have again another group of people who are very passionate about IoT, and we create a lot of innovative products there. Of course, they are much brainy people than me and much passionate about electronics and IoT. But I work with them. We create innovative solutions like, sensors for automatic watering system. We created a smart brush that was kind of something that we projected for our clients, which will tell us whether we are brushing it right or wrong, kind of thing. So that is another part I keep exploring. And of course, I have my office work where I've just got into a new role with more responsibilities in terms of my account and client. Yeah, personally, I want to start traveling more. That is something that's pending for a long time. And I'm looking to sign up for singing or some course for my creative side. Those are pretty much what I have at this point of time in terms of what to do next.
That's really nice to hear from you. I hope you were able to hit the right chords when you start singing, which has been your long passion that has been put on the back burner for a while. I hope it will hit the right chords at the moment. And also wishing you the best for your new role that you're aspiring to become. And looking forward to see you contributing more than what you're doing today at Toastmasters. And I'm sure you would. And thank you so much, Area Director F1, Toastmaster Priya Ganesh, for being an excellent host here and facilitating the conversation. Thank you, and look forward to meeting you at yet another initiative. Thanks, and have a great day.